the internet. Nobody cares. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I would like to find out how we are doing with memorizing the material. And we are going to, I'm just going to put a word on the board, and we're going to go around the table. Yes, we're going to go around the table. And I want you to tell me, just translate the word for me. Okay? And if we're good, then we're going to move on. And if we're not good, we need to make sure that we just have this down, and we don't have any problem with it. Okay, so Isabella, I'm going to start with you just because you're on this side of the table. Can you tell me what Arabitus means? There's no shame if you can't, by the way. This is for my own knowledge.
It's not they love, is it?
It is not. With someone else, everybody's going to get their own turn, but you want to do it?
Is it will plow?
And who is doing it? Is it I or you or he?
You all.
You all will plow. Okay. Caden, you get Rogobamus.
I know the ending, but I do not know that word.
Okay. Do you want to help him, John? Do you remember Rogo?
I completely forgot that word.
Luke, do you know this word? Okay. I feel like you've suffered long enough. Let's hear anything. Okay. So that means, here's what this means. Today we have to review. And we're not moving on to chapter 4 because every week you are going to get new stuff. And if you don't memorize it, so those of you that have it memorized, this is just sort of I've got worksheets, I've got stuff for you to do during the week. But for those rest of you, if you don't know them instantly, we have to know them. We have to know what the word means and what the ending means. Okay. So that's what you're going to work on this week.
I know the word. I don't.
Okay. So let's just go back over, first of all, in a very brief synopsis. And again, so those of you that you know this is easy for you. This is your time. Okay, I'm just going to be patient with my fellow students because maybe they've never seen this before. Maybe it takes them a little longer. Okay. And then if this is new to you, your job is to know this thoroughly next week. And I will tell you what I want you to do this week to make that happen, okay? But let's just go through kind of a synopsis of everything we have done so far. First of all, verbs in Latin fall into groups. Does anybody remember what you call a group of verbs that all use the same endings? Conjugations. That's okay. You know what, Isabella, would you be so good as to run out there on their coffee table and bring me my water? I would do it, but I am tethered. Actually, your mom would be glad to know I'm shopping for a wireless mic. On Wednesdays, I trip over my cord. I don't actually trip, but sometimes I hand papers out and then I find out I'm all tangled in my cord and I have to untangle myself. Thank you, Nico. It's getting warm in here. A conjugation is a group of verbs that all use the same endings. It's just a verb family. And all the verbs you've learned so far are first conjugation. All Latin verbs, most Latin verbs have 4 principal parts. And we're going to use amo. What does amo mean? I love. We're going to use amo as an example. Amo, amare, amawi, do they say tome or tos in this book?
It's
Amatum, okay. It's an adjective and it doesn't matter. If I accidentally ever say tos there or you learn tos, it's okay. The first part is simply I do whatever it is. It's the present tense, first person. So if you remember what we call the second part, or what it means.
Infinitive.
It's the infinitive. And do you remember, Caden, how would we translate it?
To love.
To love, very good. The third part is the perfect stem. Perfect is another verb tense that we haven't learned yet. So just note that we're going to use that later. So we need to learn it now, so we'll have it. And the fourth part is the participle. It is just like an adjective, loved. And we also use it for some tenses that we'll get into later. Is that all clear? If I want to know what conjugation a verb is in, I have to look at the infinitive. And specifically, I look at these three letters. Every verb with an infinitive that ends in A-R-E is first conjugation. That's why I said all the verbs you've learned so far are first conjugation. They all have an infinitive like this. And did you also notice that all the verbs they've given you are all the same, aren't they? Porto, portari, portavi, portatum. Laboro, we learned laboro, laborari, laboravi, laboratum. They're all the same. If you learn one of them, you've learned them all. So this is the first thing to know. You need to know, work on this week, all the words we've learned so far. Be able, if I say to carry, you need to be able to write or say porto, portare, portavi, portato. Okay, so that's goal number one. So if I say it to you in English, you can do it in Latin, or if you see that in Latin, you know it means carry. Okay, so that's our goal. Goal number one. When we take a verb through all of its endings, this is called conjugating the verb. And when you're asked to conjugate a verb, it simply means do this. Amo, amas, amat, amamus, amatus. I see my video really isn't close enough to see the words. So instead of, I'm just going to move the camera over. So I can move it a good deal closer. Okay. Hopefully that will help. See how I'm already tangled. This means I love, you love, do it with me. He, she, or it loves, we love, you all love, they love, right? And it's more centered on here. And notice the endings, O-S-T, mus, tis, nt. And notice how they're all attached, all except the first one, to ama. Ama is what we call the stem. The stem, think of it like a flower. You have the stem and then you have the flower stuck on top. So the stem is the main part of the verb, and the flower, the ending, is the part we stick on it to say who's doing it. And the way we find that stem is we go to our friend the infinitive. So all these first conjugation verbs are going to conjugate exactly like this. Porto, portas, portat, portans, portatus, portant, aro, aros, arat, aramus, aratus, arat. I don't even remember which ones you've learned because I'm going to first form Latin, but now we go, now we gas, now we got, now we gamus, now we gatus, now we got, because that was fun to say. And these endings, O, S, T, mus, tis, nt, they tell us who's doing it. I, you, he, she, or it, we, y'all, and they. Are we good? Everything makes sense. Okay. And they like to divide this little chart into a grid. And the first grid, the first is the columns. We have two sides. Does anybody remember what the two sides tell you? Yeah, Ava.
Singular and plural.
Singular and plural. All of these are one person. I, you, he, she, it. It's just one person. All of these, we, y'all, or they, it's all more than one person. So that's easy enough. Caden, do you remember what the rows are?
First person, second person, third.
There you go. That's what we call person. First, second, and third person. I'm going to put person down here. First person is what we call it when I'm doing, the people doing the talking are talking about themselves. I or we. Second person is when I'm talking to you or all of you. And third person means I'm talking about somebody who's not even here. He, she, it, they. So what is, you can just give me the English pronoun. What is third person plural?
He.
Third person plural.
They.
They. What is second person singular?
You.
You. What is first person plural?
We.
We. No, so you're doing it real fast, but do you see how they're getting it? Okay, so we go first person, plural. It's just like following a grid. And the more you do it, the more used to you will get to it. Okay, we good. This conjugation is in present tense. Okay, present tense means what? This is what?
Present.
Yeah, it means it's happening when?
Now.
Now. So we have several ways in English to express that something's happening right now. Sometimes we just say, I love. I'm doing it right now. Sometimes we say, I am loving. I am loving this pizza. I'm doing it right now. Sometimes we say, I do love. We don't do this one as often. I sure do love this pizza. But we do it when we ask a question. Do you love this pizza? We usually don't say, are you loving this pizza? Or even worse, love you this pizza? Because then we sound like Yoda. We usually use this one when we ask a question. These actually have names. They have the same names in Latin as they do in English. So why do they have to give everything a name? Can't we just, it was somebody's job to give all these names. And so you wouldn't want them to be out of a job. So this is called the simple present. I like to remember that it's simple because do you notice this one only has 2 words and the others have 3 words? To me, that's simple. It only has 2 words. This one is called the progressive present. I'm not going to write the word present each time. And to me, it sounds like I'm making progress. I am doing it. Like I'm trying my best. I'm making progress. The do one is called the emphatic. And what does it mean if you emphasize something?
Like I do.
Yes, exactly. Like you want to make sure you understand this is really happening. I do. I promise you, I do love it. And I'm being very emphatic. Those are the fancy grammar names for these 3 forms. But the important thing for you to know is that when you see the word amat, you may translate it 3 different ways. By the way, you don't have to translate it 3 different ways every time. Sometimes the book will ask you, translate them different ways, right? And this is what they mean. Kind of mix it up a little. I can say he loves. I can say he is loving. And I can say he does love. Those are all okay. So that's the present tense. I am going to erase this. As you see, Ava jotted some things down. I'm going to erase the stuff that you're working on. Last week, we learned how to form two more tenses. The imperfect tense and the future tense. The key to future tense is learning the endings, or imperfect, I'm sorry. Bomb, boss, bot, bombus, botus, bought. Does anybody remember from last week? I told you why we call it imperfect. It makes it sound like there's something wrong with it. Does anybody remember why we called it imperfect? Go ahead, Kate.
It's not finished.
It's not finished. That's exactly it. It's just not finished. Or it's something I did over and over. I used to go for a walk every day. Then winter came and I stopped walking outside. So it's not like I went on one walk and I was done and I never went on another walk. I did it over and over. Sometimes these were kept on. I kept on doing this till something stopped me. But usually in Latin, they ask you to translate it with was or were. And if I want to conjugate a mo in the imperfect tense, first of all, I got to have that stem. I found out our stem was ama. So I've got my stem, ama, ama, ama. I'm just going to write it 6 times. And then I add the endings. Bomb, boss, bot, bombus, botus, bont. And if we use was or were to translate it, I was loving, you were loving, he, she, or it was loving, we were loving, you all were loving, they were loving. That is the imperfect tense. Future tense, the endings are bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitus, but. And of course, just like in English, we have one helping verb. We always say will. If something hasn't happened yet, we always say it will happen. So we're going to use the word will in all these translations. Amabo, amabis, amabit, amabimus, amabitus, amabunt. I will love, you will love, he, she, or it will love, we will love, you all will love, they will love. Okay? What I'd like to do now is I'd like to go over the exercises in chapter 3 that you did. And you can get out the answers. Hopefully you wrote them out. If you're not writing them out, you should write them out. And we're just going to go through and write them on the board. And I'm actually going to keep all of this up on the board for us to take a look at. Here, let's put imperfect, future, present, amo, amas, amat, amamus, amatus, amat. And remember our O-S, I'll put this on the board too. Mus, tis, ut. I, you, he, she, or it, we, y'all, and they. Okay, let's take a look at the exercises that we did this week. Okay, so Go ahead and follow along. Do you have your Latin Alive book?
No.
That's okay. Bring it with you. If you think of it, go ahead and bring it to class, because then we can go through it together. But exercise 1, I told you, it was just the rules for making syllables. I told you we're not going to do that. So whenever an exercise says divide according to syllable, that's just a free pass. You don't have to do that one, okay? And exercise 2 was a series of verbs to translate. Let's go around. So we all get a turn. Some people don't want a turn, but it's not bad to have a turn. We're just going to go around and look. Can we start with you this time and go back the other way? What did you put? Number 1 was vocat. What does vocat mean? Did you write them down? Well, did you write them in the book?
Yeah, English.
Okay.
I
Well,
know
you know what I want you to
English.
do, Luke? You know what I want you to do? When it says exercises, I want you to write these out on another piece of paper. So when you see this, I want you to write on your paper, I want it to look like this. Exercise 2, and then 1, and then write it in English so that we can go over it in class, okay? So do you understand what I mean? Okay. So can you figure it out, what vocat would mean?
You recall?
Well, use this for help if you want. It's got a T on the end.
He calls.
He calls, or she calls, or it calls. Good. The next one was habitas. John, you want to take that one?
Sure. You live in.
You live in, or you dwell. Remember, write them down.
I did write. it down.
Okay. I'm beyond you guys. Okay. Caden, you get a double whammy. Ambulat, out. Now we got. That just doesn't seem fair. Everybody else gets 1, you get 2.
All I know is not to go.
But tell me that.
He, she, it says.
He, she, or it sails. We learned on our vocabulary that out means or. So he does something or he sails. You want to fill it in?
He walks. or
He
sails.
walks. Ambulo is walk. He walks or he sails. Make sense? Okay. Ava, I'm going to give you the next one too. Aratis ne. It's got a question mark. That kind of gives you a hint.
Somehow I missed that one in mine.
That's okay. Do you think you could figure out maybe what it means?
You all don't plow?
Well, it's not then don't, it just turns it into a question. Known.
Do you all plow?
Do you all plow? That's right. So if I wanted to say you don't plow, I would put a known in front.
Okay.
You all don't plow. It looks negative. The known, nay, it kind of makes it look negative, so it's understanding. All right, let's do some. Where have I done? Let's do some in the other direction now. Isabella, you end up with he does work. What did you put for that one?
Laborat.
Laborat, yes. Because it's laboro means work. The T is T shear it. And remember, he does work is just one of our ways we can translate present tense. Luke, what do you want to do with we ask? See if you can put that one together for me. Oh, you've got it. Oh, awesome. What did you put? Here's your. Yes, rogamos. Are you handwritingly challenged a little bit? Sometimes I am too. I write things down so quickly. I don't have bad handwriting. I just don't exercise the good handwriting, and then I can't read. Yes. So we, mus, and roga means ask. All right, John, give me. Are they calling?
Well, I have it written down. I have a hard time pronouncing this.
You can spell it if you want.
Okay, Vocantne.
Vocantne. Vocantne. So voco is the call part. Adding the nt means it's present tense and they're doing it. And the ne turns it into a question.
Wouldn't it be what currently?
Oh, yes, Vocantne. You know what? Last year, John did a class with me, and we were trying to do church pronunciation, and they do va for these, and now I'm trying to switch over to wa. I will do the best I can.
Right, that's fine.
And sometimes I will botch it. Vocantne. Thank you. Okay. Ava, I rule and they work. I like the sound of that. I rule and they work. It's kind of like this room. No.
Regno et laborant.
Beautiful. Regno et laborant. I work. I rule. They work. And we learned in chapter 2 that et means and. Okay. So is everybody, like, we totally understand what's going on here. It's just a matter of memorizing it. So I'm going to give you, like I said, another week to just ingrain it, because the next thing we're going to learn a whole new set of endings. It's nouns. It's just, and I thought if I send you away from here and you don't know how to do this really, without thinking too hard about it, your week's going to be miserable. And I didn't want to make your week miserable. Let's look at exercise 3. These are future tense. Yes, sir.
Are we memorizing for chapter 4?
No, we are not. I am going to send you home with some sheets and also has the answers. But don't look at the answers until you do the sheet. So you're just going to practice this again this week and work on making sure if you look at, if you look at this, which is number 1, you know exactly what it means and you don't have to look in the book. That's the goal. You can look at them and you don't have to look in the book anymore. Let's see. Ava did the last one, so Isabella gets this one. Rogabis.
So do I just say?
Yeah, just tell me what this is. Exercise 3, number 1.
Second person singular.
Oh, yes, they asked you for person and number. Very good. So rogabis is second person singular. Beautiful. And what does it mean? That's right. You didn't read the directions, did you? See, I didn't even read the directions, but I'm telling you. What is it, the second, Caden? And what does it translate as? You can use the board. It's all up on the board. It's got a bis ending.
You rule, is it?
Roga is ask.
Okay.
So when are you asking?
Now. Or you will ask?
You will ask, it's future.
Okay.
If you see bo bis bit, bim bis bun, it's future. Yes, what was your question, Katie?
Oh, I was just going to answer.
Oh, okay. All right, Luke. Habitabimus. First of all, let's do this together. What person is it? First, second, or third person? Bimus. First, can you see the board okay?
Yeah.
Okay. First, second, or third. Where is the mus?
It would be first.
It's first person. And is it singular or plural?
Plural.
It's first person plural. All right. So when it says, give me the person and number, that's what they mean. First person plural. What's it mean?
We will live. We will be living.
We will,
It's two.
yes, we will live in, we will dwell. Here's a key. If they give you more than one translation for a verb, some verbs can mean more than one thing. You don't have to, you have my permission to not write out every possible translation. Okay. But live in, dwell, yes. All right, John, next one was Regna Beat. Give me the person and number.
Is that number 3?
Yes,
Third person singular.
it's third person singular.
He, she, or it will rule.
He, she, or it will rule.
Or he, she, or it will be ruling.
Yes, that's fine too. If you want to write even more words, you're just like an overachiever and you want to write more words. Okay, Caden, you're up. Vocabunt. Person and number. You can look, it's okay.
Third person plural.
It's third person plural and it means what?
They will call.
They will call, boom. All right, Ava. Arabitus. Person and number.
Second person plural.
Yes, and it means
Y'all will plow.
y'all will plow. And back to Isabella. Ambulabo. Person and number.
So it's first person singular,
It is.
and it's I walk.
It's got a
I
bow.
will walk.
I will walk, and it's future. So, you need to remember that when you go through these exercises, especially when you haven't written them out previously, think of all the things your brain has to do, the steps you have to go through, to come up with one of these. You have to know, okay, what does that word mean? And then who's doing it? And then when are they doing it? You have at least 3 things your brain has to process every single time you look at one of these, which is why they say Latin is so very good for your brain. It just, even if you don't go on to become a Latin scholar, it just really makes your brain very disciplined because you have to analyze and discipline. And this helps you. There's all sorts of things we do in the world where we have to be disciplined and analyze things. Farmers have to be disciplined and analyze the conditions. So, why pick farmers? Because I think we think of it as being something that you don't have to be highly educated to do, which is just not really fair or true. Farmers have to know tons of stuff. I can't even keep a houseplant alive. We would all starve if I were your farmer. So, no. Okay, next, let's look at exercise 4. You see the same thing. It says identify the person and the number, and then translate. So we're back around to you, Luke. Rogabas. And like I said, this is up here for a reason. You can use this, okay? What's the person and number?
Second person singular.
It is beautiful. And what does it mean? What part's tripping you up?
I think I'm almost good. You were asking?
You were asking. Boom. Okay. Habitabamus. John, are you getting the same? I thought you're all going to get the exact same word. We should have gone the other direction. Okay. I'm going to mix it up after John. All right. Person and number.
First person plural. We were living.
We were living. Okay.
Or we lived.
Kate, we're skipping you and going around so everybody doesn't get the same word. Like I wanted the same word. Okay. Regnabat. This is Isabella. Person and number.
Third person singular.
Third person singular, and it means
He rules.
It's got the boss or bot, so it's imperfect.
He was ruling.
He was ruling. There you go. Ava, vocabont.
Third person plural. They will call, or they were calling.
They were calling. Now, Caden, Arabatus.
Third person, plural. I mean, second person.
There we go.
Yo. Or plowing.
Yeah, and then we ran out of people. So we're just this is going to be a group one. Ambulabom. Person,
First.
first. Number,
Singular.
Singular.
translation.
I will walk.
What?
I was walking.
I was walking. Sorry,
I looked at the one right above it.
Yeah, likely no. We believe you. Okay, let's fill in this chart together and do exercise 6. And then I'm going to tell you how to pattern your week. And again, if you feel like you really know this well, I don't think review is ever wasted. Even if it's something you think you know pretty well, because things slip away from us. Practice. Think of, we were just talking about the Olympic Games, right? Think how much they practice, right? They'll say, oh, I know how to jump over the pole. I don't need to practice anymore. No, they keep doing it even when they're really good at it. So, but if this is not super fast and easy for you, another week will do you good. Okay, so we have this chart. The first one, I think the first 2 should be filled in. Didn't we do the second one together in class? Okay, let's do it again. Rogabis. This is the same thing we just did. What tense is this? It's future. What person is this? Let's just, you can shout it out.
Second.
Second. What number is it?
Singular.
Singular. And what does it mean?
You will ask.
You will ask. So if you don't already have this filled in your chart, fill it in with us. But hopefully you already have it in and you can just look at it. Okay, next one was ambulant. Tense.
Present.
Imperfect.
Actually, this is tricky because that B pops in there, but ambulo is the word. So this is the stem. There's a few words like that. Scribo. Scribo is the worst because it has a bow on the end and it sounds like this, but scribo is the present. Okay, so it's present. What person?
Third.
Number.
Plural.
What's it mean?
They walk.
They walk. Regnabamus. Interesting sounds.
Third person.
Yes.
Perfect.
It's okay. So it's what was the tense?
Imperfect.
Imperfect. And who's the person?
Third.
First. Present. Number.
Plural.
Plural. Means
We.
Will rule.
Yeah.
Were
we
ruling.
were.
we were ruling. I know. See, it's just it's habit. It's practice. Vocabo. Tense.
Future.
Person.
First.
Number.
Singular. I will call.
I will call. Laboratus. Now, I'm going to stop and ask a question. Does everyone know how we're getting all of this information? It sounds like you do.
The ending.
Yes, the endings tells you which column, which row, and which tense. Okay, good. So laboratus.
Sure.
I think this
It's
is.
actually present.
It's actually present because laboro is the actual verb.
Okay.
I know, you see, so you can't, just because you see a bee in it, do not be taken in by the floating around bees that are just trying to take you off the path. It is present tense. Person,
Second. Plural.
plural. And it means
You all are working.
you all are working. Okay, I'm going to put the last one up here because I'm running out of room. Portabat.
Imperfect.
Imperfect.
Third.
Third.
Singular.
Singular.
He, she, it was carrying.
You sure it was carrying? Yes. Imperfect. Third person, singular, he was carrying. All right. All right, we got exercise 6. They want us to put them into Latin. You know what this tells me? Think how long this is taking us to go through all of these answers. This is taking us a long time, isn't it?
It's a lot of steps.
I need to find a way to provide you guys with the answers so that you can do it at home like we did with Memorial Press, and trust that you're not just going to look at the answers and write it down.
What if you just gave us the answers like the next week, so then we have to check them?
Well, because then I want you to know, I want you to come to class knowing whether or not you know how to do it. Like, it would be so much time. Like, you would do it, and then if I gave you the answers next week and you didn't go check those till after you left. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start emailing your parents the answers. Like, not this week because I'm giving you the answers, but I have the answers in my teacher guide, and you guys don't have them anywhere. And I could just scan the answers and send them, and then your parents could, if they choose, not give you the answers until they know that you've done it. And then what you could do is you could mark the ones, like, I don't know why this is wrong. And then what we would do when we come together is I would just put samples on the board to make sure everybody's got it. I will make up my own samples, much like I did last year, because I see that this is going to take our whole class period, basically, to go through, and then we won't have time to do the next thing. So you guys need to be provided with the answers at home. Thank you for being patient with me for working out how this book is going to work in a group. Let's take a look at exercise 6. We were singing. Anyone want to volunteer your answer? Ava.
Canta Bamus?
Canta Bamus. We know this is sing, and this is we were. Canta Bamus. How about, I'll let you raise your hand, okay? I will walk and sing. I'm not going to write it in English. John, you want to give us I will walk and sing?
Sure. Ebulo et cantipo.
Okay, so here is what you wrote. I am walking and I will sing.
Right.
But it's I will walk and sing. I will do both of them. Can you make this be I will do it?
Well, bow. Correct.
Ambulabo.
Right.
Right, and we got that?
Yeah.
How about you all were not plowing?
Right, that's actually what I wrote. I just didn't pronounce it right.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
You all were not plowing. I'm going to let somebody else do the try if they want. Here's how to do this. Well, I'm sorry, I break in because I can see your thinking, and then I talk and I run it. But were, what tense is it? We have 3 choices. What does the were tell you?
Oh, imperfect.
So it's going to have one of these endings. And it says y'all. What's the ending for y'all were? Batis. So we're going to have batis on the end of the word for plow.
Non-aerobatus.
Yes, aerobatis. And then, do you remember how I make it not?
Non
Non at the beginning. Non-aerobatis. If you break it down, eventually you don't have to break it down into those steps. But when you're starting out, you kind of do. How about it sails? Sure, Ava.
Now we got. Or now we got.
Now we got. Number 5. Will she rule?
I mean, I would have written out, I could spell it. I don't think I can pronounce it.
So will. What group? What are the groups are we looking at?
Right. No bit.
Yes. Reg, not you had it halfway or more than halfway. Reg non bit is she will rule, And if we want to turn it into a question, will she rule? Yes. All right. Here's what I think we should do this week. I do not think it would be a bad idea for you to read through chapter 2 and 3 again. Just on the off chance that there's a term or something that I didn't do. So here's what your week could look like, okay? This is Tuesday. On Wednesday, read chapter 2 again. This is going to take you 10 minutes, maybe tops. This is not. Plus, we've already gone over this material 3 times. Drill all your words, practice them. All right, both ways. Look at the English and come up with Latin. And conjugate. Actually, can I just pass these out? Okay, do not be put off by the fact that it says to test. These are the test booklets they give me, but I don't know that I'm actually going to use them. Here, incoming for both of you. But can I just steal yours for it? Can you look at Ava's? And here's what I want to say. First of all, would everybody take a pen, making free here, and number 1. Number 1, just draw a big line. That's doing the syllables. We're not doing that. Just don't do that part, okay? And I would say then on Wednesday, read that chapter and then go ahead and do the worksheet. And do chapter 2 test. On Thursday, read chapter 3 and do the chapter 3 test. Actually, I would say, now that I look at that, it's really not going to take you that long to do this. All right, can I just change my instructions? I'm so sorry. I wasn't sure if we were going to move on to chapter 4 until I came to class. So on Wednesday, read chapter 2, drill all your words, and do chapter 2 test, sections 2, section 2, 2 and 3. On Thursday, do the chapter 2 test, sections 4 and 5. I am about to give you the answers. Please do not look at the answers until you do it, but please do look at the answers after you do it so that you can come and say, Mrs. Ferguson, I just can't get any of these right, and I don't know why. I don't think that's going to be true of anyone in this room, but if it were, I'd like you to know, okay? Then on Friday, also drill all words. That comes every day. All words every day. Friday, drill words. And do chapter 3 test. I could have stolen your chapter 2 test, then I need to steal your. Oh, no, I can just look at the answers. Do sections 1 and 2. And you know what? I don't like section 3. I'll tell you to do section 3 and see if you can figure out what they want you to do. They ask you about the endings in weird ways. Section 3 is optional. And then next Monday, drill your words and do chapter 3 test, sections 4 and 5. Have I been clear, or have I just totally written a bunch of stuff on the board and not explained? Does that make sense to go through for the week? Drill all your words every day to the point where when you see one of these words, you know exactly what it is. And make sure you know all the principal parts. You just know them like the back of your hand, as they say. Although I don't feel like I know the backs of my hand that well. I spend a lot of time staring at the back of my hand. And then work through these sheets. And we're gonna, when we come next week, I'm just gonna put verbs. I'm gonna put random verbs on the board. And the goal is I put a random verb up and you can just tell me it's this. This will give you a little extra help. So everybody grab a test so that they're stapled, the two things are stapled. Here, I'll just, oh, I'm sorry, that was with more violence than I intended. So, but is everything we've said and done is clear? But so if you didn't have answers with you today, it's probably a matter of memorizing. Please, I mean, you've got a worksheet to write the answers out, but in the future, when we're doing the book, write all the answers down on a piece of paper. But and this next week, I'm going to devise a way. Either I'm going to scan them, I'm going to figure out a way, or I could probably just type up the answers really fast. It would be probably faster than me scanning. You know, I could just write exercise 1 and put all the answers down. And then I think that will save us time. And then I'll just make sure we all understand before we move on to the next one. Because I know I'm going to need plenty of time next week to introduce chapter 4. Okay, if you are staying for high school class, you can go in the living room. If not, have a wonderful week.
So what?